Just got out of the shower. So this is happening. Alright. What's up, guys? Just got done watching the second episode of Akame Ga Kill, and well, here's my review. Okay, so we open with Tatsumi remembering his two friends that died and like bringing flowers for them and stuff, and it's really somber and sad. Then Boobs shows back up. And by boobs, I mean not only the character, but also in terms of anatomy. Like, she just walks up and like just plops her chest right on top of his head for no reason. Which is something that I noticed this series does a lot. They interject like weird random humor to break up the sorrow. Like in the last episode at the end, after his two friends were dead and he killed the girl, like he's sitting there freaking the hell out and mourning, and they just like swoop him up and it gets all comical at the end. Like really uplifting for no reason. It makes no sense at all. Like it just completely breaks the tension and they keep doing it. Anyway, she shows up while he's mourning and just drops her chest on his head. Which kind of got me thinking, like, is that what they do to signify territory in female prisons? Like, does an inmate just walk up to new inmates and be like, now I own you? Anyways, moving on, she brings him into the Assassin Guild hideout place and tells him, hey, either you can be an assassin or we can kill you, so you have options. And he's like, oh, sweet, cool, well, let me think on it. So they put him to work in the kitchen in the meantime, and then he goes out and starts hunting for giant fish with Akame because they needed to show her in a bathing suit, I guess. I don't care. And of course, the whole time he's fishing with Akame, he's like being lecherous and like checking her out and stuff, and she doesn't seem to notice. Like, that's the thing about her kind of character. Like, they don't notice stuff like that. Like, they're emotionally closed off and they're incredibly badass, like Mikasa, Rei, someone like that. That's pretty much what she is. So like the whole time he's kind of wondering, you know, does she even notice me? Does she like realize what's going on? So after that, they introduce him to the leader of the assassins, which is this white-haired girl with like a bionic commando arm, although I'm pretty sure it's not her wife. Although it's anime, so... Anyways, she tells him that they're not going to kill him if he doesn't join, but he can't leave, so he'll have to be like a guard or a chef or, you know, something like that. So he takes a little while to think about it, and in the meantime, they find another mark that they want to kill. There's two guys in the main city who apparently did something wrong, so they're going to send out Akame and Boobs to go handle him, I guess. Now, at this point, Tatsumi hears about this and decides he wants to join. So he approaches the leader and he's like, hey, why don't you like send me, because I want to join and stuff. And they're like, are you sure? Because like we know you killed somebody before, but you did that in the heat of rage, so we're not sure if you're gonna be able to kill people again. And he's all like, no, yeah, I can totally kill people because fucking it's easy. So after a little bit of this, they go ahead and decide to let him go. Oh, I forgot to mention, there's a couple other members of the Assassin's Guild, or Night Raid, that's what they call it, that show up. But so far, none of them really matter. I mean, there's Mine, who's like this lowly pink-haired girl who doesn't really do anything and seems to have like the same attitude that all lolis have. And then there's Bulat, or Bullet. I'm gonna call him Bullet. That's his name now. Bullet. See, the thing about Bullet is that they like reference him possibly being gay, and that made him probably the most interesting character to me because it was unconventional and it seemed like a little bit of background and development, but then they just like use it as a throwaway joke. But really, none of those characters matter in this episode, so, I mean, I'll probably get to them in the next one, though. Anyways, he decides to go ahead and go on the hunt with Akame and Boobs. And for some reason, they send, like, the two experienced assassins after this little mole man-looking fucker. Like, and I'm not even overstating this. Like, this guy is so, like, weak-looking that if you were in the same city as him, and you just, like, you punched a random person, he would die. So, of course, the girls show up over there, and Boobs grabs him from behind while Akame stabs him. The grab and stab. That's what I'm calling. You know what? I'm probably going to use that a lot. The grab and stab. I'm guessing that's going to happen a lot in this show. Anyways, jump back over to our main character who's not in the name of the show, but whatever. And he has to fight this dude that kind of looks like Baron Von Underbite from the Venture Brothers. So he ends up going after Jaws, or at least that's what we think is going to happen, because when he gets to him, he's like, hey, can I join the military? See, it just so happens that the target is like a big general in the military or something, and as that's what he wanted last episode, it looks like he's going back to it. But the two go back to an alley to talk, and to nobody's surprise, Tatsumi turns on him and decides to try and fulfill the contract. Now the whole time the two are fighting and Jaws is like swinging this big old sword at him and he's like being quick and dodging and all this stuff. And while he's fighting, he's thinking to himself like, can I kill this guy? Is this really like the job for me? Is this something I can do? And that doesn't make sense to me because what he's doing right now is essentially fighting a street shark. So I wouldn't be thinking, oh, can I kill this guy? Is that something I have within me? I would be thinking, this motherfucker's about to eat me. But in the end, he pulls through with the 9 scar maker, cuts this fool to pieces, and bolts out. Once they get back, everybody's kind of like praising him and stuff, and they're like, oh, you see, when you were cooking and hunting fish, that was training and stuff. And Akame, with her cold blank stare, is like, oh, did you get hurt? And he's like, no, not one scratch, ha 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 ha, anime. So in response, of course, she strips him naked. So he starts freaking out like, what the hell are you doing? And she looks him up and down and she's like, oh, you know, back in the day I had a partner. He got shot with an arrow. Turns out it was poisoned. It was just a little scratch, but he died anyways. So I had to check you to make sure, like, you know, you weren't gonna die. And he finally realizes that Akame actually does care about people, I guess. Then we end the episode with the captain of the night raid telling him that he has to go train with the kind of rude loli girl named Mine, which hasn't really gotten much character development yet, but she probably will in the next episode, or at least she'll be in it. As far as plot goes, like, nothing really interesting happened. I mean, we kind of learned a little bit about Akame. She lost somebody due to, like, a poison arrow, and we learned that Bullet may or may not be gay. But, I mean, nothing really that interesting happened, and the majority of it didn't even make sense. Like, why would you send the newbie after, like, the stronger of the two targets? And how the hell does cooking and fishing teach you how to fight? Like, they didn't even try to explain that. They were just like, yeah, you know, it taught you teamwork and stuff, and cooking. So all in all, this episode basically came off as like a training montage without actually showing any training at all. And I'm pretty sure the next episode is going to kind of be more of the same, but like in a different location. But, you know, we'll jump off that bridge when we get to it. Anyways, guys, peace.